All right, good morning, fourth graders in Mrs. Greer's class. The math word problems today are a little tricky, so you'll grab a piece of paper so you can write the answers down. The directions say, please make sure you use the RDW method. You may solve these on paper, then type your answer in the text box provided. All right, slide number 2. In 2011, the New York City Marathon, 29,867 men finished the race and 16,928 women finished the race. Each finisher was given a t-shirt. About how many men's shirts were given away? About how many women's shirts were given away? All right, so we have to decide what place value we're going to round to. So let's work on the men first. And we'll use M for men. And the actual number was 29,867. So I have a few choices. I can round to the 10,000 spot. And that would look like this. So I'd have 20,000 at the bottom and 30,000 at the top. And then in the middle would be 25,000. And then I have to think, where would 29,867 fall? And that would be right about here. And so this would be closest to 30,000 if I round by 10,000. If I round by the 1,000, not 10,000, but the 1,000 spot, that would be where the 9 is. I would have 29,000 here. And 30,000 here. In the middle, I have 29,500. And 29,867 would be here, and it would still round to 30,000 because it's 29. So for the men, I would change that number. I'm going to put it here so we remember. The men, we ordered about 30,000 shirts. And we can round by the 10,000 or the 1,000 spot. All right, so now let's look at the women. I'm going to have to erase this, and I'll use a different color. And the women would be, we'll use W for women, and they had 16,928 finishers. So look at it the same way. If we round by the 10,000 spot, it would be, we'd have 10,000 down here at the bottom of our number line and 20,000 up here at the top. And in the middle is always 5, so it'd be 15,000. And 16,928 would be slightly above 15,000, which means it's closer to 20,000. Now, if we round that by just the 1,000 spot, that would be the 6. I would have 16,000 down here, 17,000 at the top, and in the middle is always 5, so it'd be 16,500. All right, and I think 16,928, well, 928 would be somewhere up here, and that rounds to 17,000. When I look at both of these answers, 20,000 or 17,000, which one is closer to 16,000? Well, 17,000 is closest to 16,000. I think 928 isn't really that far from 17,000, but 20,000 is a little over 3,000 away. And so for the women, we're going to round by, we're going to say the women are going to get 17,000. And we're going to round by the thousands place. All right, so now I can erase in this box and I can type the answer. And in our text box, we'll say about 30,000 men's t-shirts were given away. To solve this problem, I rounded 29,867 to the nearest 10,000 to get 30,000. And we'll say about 17,000 women's t-shirts were given away. To solve this problem, I rounded 16,928 to the nearest 1,000 to get 17,000. And as long as you explain which place value you rounded to, you'll get it correct. All right, let's go to slide 3. In 2011 New York City Marathon, 42,429 people finished the race and received a medal. Before the race, the medals had to be ordered. If you were the person in charge of ordering the medals and estimated how many to order by rounding, would you have ordered enough medals? Explain your thinking. All right, let's think. We know that the actual answer is 42,429. So let's determine which place value we can round to. If we round to the 10,000, I'd have my vertical number line. 40,000 would be at the bottom. 50,000 would be at the top. And then in the middle is always 5, so that'd be 45,000. And now I think, where would 42,429 go? Well, 42 is less than 45, so it'll be down here. So this would be closest to 40,000. So if I round by 10,000, I'll have 40,000. That would not be enough medals. So let's see if I round by the thousands place. Would that give me enough medals? And TH is 1,000, so it would be 42,000. And then the top would be 43,000. And in the middle is always 5, so it'd be 42,500. And now I look at my number, 42,400. So 42,500 is a little bit too big, so it would be underneath. And that would give me 42,000. Again, this would not be enough. In fact, if I kept rounding by each place value, I would never have enough unless I round by the tens. Because if I round by the tens, 29 would be closer to 30, and then I would have enough. So I can explain that now in my answer. Let's erase some of this. So when I type, you can actually see what we're typing. All right. To solve this problem, I rounded 42,429 to the nearest 10,000. This number rounded to 40,000 and would not be enough medals for everyone. Then I rounded the number to the nearest 1,000. And I got 42,000. this would still not be enough metals. I would need to round to the nearest 10 to get 42,430 metals to have enough metals for everyone. That was a pretty long answer. You can always pause so you can write this down and then copy it into your answer. All right, number 4. Or slide 4. In 2010, 28,357 of the finishers were men and 14,072 of the finishers were women. About how many more men finished the race than women? To determine your answer, did you round to the nearest 10,000 or 1,000? All right, so let's find the actual answer first because that'll help us determine which rounding would be most effective. Okay, 28,357. We're asking us to find the difference when it says how many more. So I'm going to need to subtract. Remember, they don't want the actual answer. We're just using this for a frame of reference. And I can't do that, so I'll have to regroup. And 15 take away 7 is 8. 2, 4. Okay, so this is my actual answer. So when I round, I'm looking for an answer that's close to 14,000. All right, let's change colors. Let's do 28,357. And let's say I round this to the nearest 10,000. So that would be the 2. And I'll just mark that over here, 10,000. So that would be 20,000. I think I might stop doing the commas because it's killing my fingers. And in the middle is always 5, so it'd be 25,000. And 28,000 would be above 25,000. So this would round to 300,000 if I did 10,000. If I did the thousands place, that would be the 8. So I'd have 28,000 at the bottom, 29,000 at the top, and in the middle I'd have 28,500. And I think 28,300, 300 would be less than 500, so that would be down here, and it would round to 28,000. Okay, so I could change this to a 30,000 or a 28,000. Now let's see, when I round the other number, I'm going to have to use this over here, this side. If I round 14,072 to the nearest 10,000, I would get that's the ones place. The 10,000 place would be a 1, so it'd be 10,000 and 20,000 at the top. And in the middle would be 15,000. And so 14,000 would be under it, and it would be closest to 10,000 if I round by the nearest 10,000. And if I round by the nearest 1,000, that would be the 4. It would be 14,000 at the bottom of my vertical number line and 15,000 at the top. And in the middle would be 14,500. And then I think 14,072 would be less. That'd be 14,000. So now let's look at the differences. If this would be 30, if I round by 10,000, it'd be 30,000 minus 10,000. So in the 10,000, I'll do it here. It'd be 30,000 minus 10,000 would give me 20,000. We know that the actual answer was 14,285. So if I round by 10,000, it's going to give me 20,000. What if I round by 1,000. So that would be 28,000 and 14,000. So I'd have to subtract them. 28,000. I'm just going to use the dots for zeros. And 14,000 dot, dot, dot. And then I would have 14,000. So which answer is closest to the actual answer? 14,000 or 20,000? And the answer would be 14,000. So I would want to round to the nearest thousand to get a more accurate answer. And so now we're going to type this all in. I probably are going to need to erase. And I'll type, to solve this problem, I needed to round to the nearest thousand. And then I'm going to have to explain. I rounded 28,357 to the nearest thousand to get 28,000. I rounded 14,072 to the nearest thousand to get 14,000. Then I subtracted 28,000 minus 14,000 to get 14,000. This is closest to the actual answer, 14,280. All right, and so that explains that we rounded to the nearest thousand because it gave us the answer that was closest to the actual answer. All right, last one. Are your brains hurting? Because I think mine is. All right, a company developed a student survey so that students could share their thoughts about school. In 2011, 78,234 students across the United States were administered the survey. In 2012, the company planned to administer the survey to 10 times as many students as were surveyed in 2011. About how many surveys should the company have printed in 2012? Explain your answer. All right, so in 2011, we had 78,234 surveys. Let's round this number because remember, it still says about. And every time it says about, it means you have to round. If we round it to the 10,000 spot, I would get 70,000 down here. Remember, dot, dot, dot will be a zero. 80,000 at the top. In the middle is always 5, so it'd be 75,000. And then 78,000 would be closer to 80,000. So if I round by the 10,000 place, it would be closer to 80,000. So 10,000 place, 10,000 would be closer to 80,000. And then remember in 2012, I need 10 times that. So I multiply by 10. And you don't really have to do the multiplication out. Remember, when you multiply by 10, we're just moving over a place value, and that would give me 800,000. Just adding a zero right there to the end. All right. And now let's see if we rounded by the nearest thousand, if that would give us a more accurate answer. So if I rounded by the nearest thousand, I'm going to change it to the 8. So it would be 78,000 and 79,000. And the middle would be 78,500. And my actual answer is 78,200, so it would be underneath, which would be closer to 78,000. So if I round by the thousands place, it would be 78,000. And remember, I need 10 times that in 2012. And that would give me 780,000. All right, now if we think about the actual answer, we know that there's 78,234 and they wanted to do 10 times that. So for my actual answer, I would have gotten 782,340. Okay, so now let's see which estimate is closer, 780,000 or 800,000. Well, if I ordered 780,000, I wouldn't have enough because that's less than 782,000. So I'll need to round by the 10,000s place to get 800,000. And let's erase this so I can type in the box. And I'll say, to solve this problem, I will need to round to the nearest 10,000. I rounded 78,234 to the nearest 10,000 to get 80,000, and then multiplied by 10 to get 800,000. A company should print about 800,000 surveys in 2012 to have enough. And that would be it. I mean, if you wanted to type about what the actual answer is or that we rounded by the thousands, you could do that too, but I think this would be good. Good luck.